Welcome back to our feature cam video series. You should have watched the new part creation video, and this should be your second video that you're watching. This video is going to talk about some of the toolbars, some of the menus, what you'll be using a lot in feature cam to hopefully make the user experience more friendly. Before we jump in and start drawing and start creating code, I want to make sure you know where all the toolbars and all the tools are. So one of the first things you should notice is this toolbox on the left side of the screen. This has a lot of the main tools that you'll be using. We've been through the stock box. That should look familiar to you. The next is geometry. This is where all the operations, lines, circles, arcs, things like that you can draw features with on your part. You have curves. This will chain pieces of geometry together to create boundaries that feature cam will use to create features. You have closed. You have open boundaries. You have curve wizard. You can do just about anything with this curve wizard, even add text. We'll get to that in another video. We have surfaces and solids, which I don't use too much in class, but you can create surfaces and solids using the geometry in feature cam. You have AFR, which is automatic feature recognition. If you were to use or have a solid model that you imported into feature cam, you can use AFR to essentially generate toolpaths and features based on the solid model. Features, we're going to be using this one a lot. This is going to have all your different features from dimensions or from curves that you can create. Toolpaths, NC code, this is where you would generate NC code. I don't have any features, so I'm going to get this error, but that's okay. And then you have customized manufacturing, which we won't use too much either. Okay, so those are your toolbars. Right above steps, you'll see part view, and this is going to be your tree that contains all of your information for your part. Once I start getting things in here, you'll see things like curves or solids or surfaces. You'll see here's your first setup right here. So if you had multiple setups, you would see all of those listed in here, and you would be able to find your curves or your surfaces for each setup. This is handy sometimes when you have multiple curves on your part and you need to find your curves. I usually come to my part view and find the curves under my curves bar right there. Steps, though, is probably the most common one that you're going to be on. And across the top, you'll have some pretty common toolbars. Everyone will have this first toolbar, which is just your generic toolbar. It has new file, open, save, things like that. Right here is the view tools. So if you hit this drop down, you can see all these different view tools that you can use to view your part. Rotate, trackball, pan zoom, rotate in the axes. I'm sure you've used one of those at some point in time in your life. If you've ever used AutoCAD or CATIA or Inventor or just about any kind of drafting software, you know what those do. You have your viewing angles, so you have isometrics and top, front, left, right, bottom, and back. So you can change your view based on those buttons. Now most often we're going to be working in top. That's just because where we're going to be placing a lot of our features. If you want to see what the 3D view looks like, I would switch it to an isometric view. But always draw in your top view, because that is perpendicular to your X and Y axes. And then you have some other tools that are used once in a blue moon. And then again, up here you have some other tools that honestly I hardly ever use, but they're there. Like here you have setups. If you have multiple setups, you can go through here. You have your UCS, and you have snap modes. We'll get to this more in a moment. So you have a lot of different tools in there. Now I'll talk about snap modes since I just showed you what that is. I also have a toolbar right here that is the snap modes. That's turned on by showing snap mode toolbar. You can click this box here, which will give you this toolbar. I'll just show you if I uncheck it and check it. You have some different snapping options. Grid points, which will put points on your part. You have points that you can add in there. End points, mid points. This is all where it's going to snap to on your while you're drawing. This is very similar to the snapping modes in AutoCAD. Intersections, circle centers, things like this. Sometimes if you notice some erratic drawing or you can't get exactly where you want it to click, make sure you have the proper snapping modes turned on or turned off. Again, you can also get to that snapping modes toolbar by right-clicking in this gray area. And you'll see snap mode. You can also get there via one of these drop-down boxes. And then this one is a pretty important one, simulation. This will go through all the simulations of your part once you get all your features added. You have to run a simulation in order to generate your G-code. And I'll go through all the simulation modes when I get to creating your G-code. And then you have your drop-downs. And most of these drop-downs have roots in these toolbars, just different ways to get to it. You have view. So there's your viewing modes again. Oh, sorry. There's your principal views. So all of these things, layers, again, on view. Construct, again, here's a lot of your geometries. Your lines, circles, arcs, dimensions, things like that in your construct. You can also get them in your geometry button as well. Manufacturing is the only drop down that really doesn't have its own toolbar, and the biggest one that you'll be using in manufacturing is your tool manager and your post-process. These two together will help you create a good product. Tool manager is just what tools you're using, what kind of mills you're using, and we'll go through how to set up your tool crib in another video as well. And then options you can go through here. But those are all the toolbars that FeatureCam has, and you need to know where some things are located before you start drawing, because again, it'll save you time and it'll save you headache if you know what you're hunting for and where it's at. Okay, hope that cleared everything up. Again, a lot of them are going to be right on screen, and if they're not, you can right click and find whichever one that you need. And if you need to get in your tool manager, your post-process, it's under the manufacturing. You also can get to your post-process down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Analamp 6000 Revision D is the post-processor we use for the mills in the shop. And then you have your different setups, what plane you're looking at. Right now I'm looking at the XY plane. Here is my tool crib. And again, like I said, I'll get into tool cribs a little bit later. And then this is just how many cores of your computer it's using. If you get into large, complex parts, it's going to use a lot of processing power to generate tool paths. So you want to make sure if you have them, you're using all the cores possible. Okay, that's it, and thank you for watching.